Hey, what's up everyone? This is Anthony from Anthony's Customs, and for this review we are looking at the Marvel Legends Stryfe figure from the Marvel Legends X-Men wave, exclusive to Toys R Us. People have wanted a Stryfe figure for just about as long as Legends have existed, and now we finally have one, so that's a good thing. It's a pretty decent figure overall, but there's definitely some issues you need to be aware of if you are interested in picking up this figure. So let's take a look at him. He's got some good size to him, almost 7.5 inches tall. He's built mostly on the Hyperion body, so let me just get out of the way right now. I still hate, as much as I ever have, the Hyperion body. The anatomy is way off. The shoulders are way too far forward. He just doesn't look right. That being said, all of this guy's armor and stuff like that, all these extra pieces, they do go a good distance in making up for that weird anatomy of Hyperion, so that's a good thing. Can't really complain too much about that in this case. We have some newly sculpted parts, which is good. The lower legs and all of this is pretty much new. The feet are old, I believe, but that's okay. We have the spikes here, which are actually well done. These little fins down here, which look pretty good. The chest armor, it looks okay. The naples they put on them, little suction cup naples, they look a little weird, but that doesn't bother me too much because it's pretty close to what I think he looks like, so it's alright. However, this whole piece, this whole silver piece up here, including the collar, in fact, let's pop this off. It's all an add-on piece. It's connected to the cape, it glues on. You can see there that it's connected at the chest. It's supposed to cover the pecs. It's supposed to go all the way down. His booby armor is not supposed to give him under boob, but it does. It's not good. I bought 3 of them so I could pick out the best one, since I haven't had the best of luck with my Legends coming the way they should lately. And the best one I could find is this one that has the giant under boob. One was totally crooked, one was crooked the other way. It's just not good. So yes, you can probably pry it off and hope that nothing tears or stretches and then get it back on and line it up properly, but you shouldn't have to. That's just not good. So there is that. We do have this cape, which the cape part itself, it looks okay. It's textured. The kind of droopiness looks good, but they made it like this S shape, which could be okay. It could just look like it's windswept, but on the figure, it just looks really awkward. You get this really cool regal cape on this side of the figure. It comes out nice. It gives him a nice look. And then on this side, it's just got a chunk missing. It doesn't really look windswept. This piece, if they're going to go for windswept, it should have all been kind of turned and swept, not just like somebody photoshopped and pushed in with the smudge tool. That looks way weird. Unless you're going to put him in some kind of pose that only looks good at one angle, having an asymmetrical cape like this especially, it doesn't work. It looks awkward as heck. Or hell, if you don't mind me swearing. There's also a big giant plug of plastic up there where it connects on both sides. So of course looking like this isn't necessary, but that's just so you can see. There's a giant plug of plastic, which I don't understand why. This is pretty firm plastic. It's not super soft. So that little curve there, it should have been okay, but there's these big plugs, so that's no good. This up here is going to restrict the articulation. Even with the shoulder pad, you can see that the arm is too far forward. The shoulder should be sitting back in that socket where they put it, at least, if not farther back. So that's disappointing. His little skirt belt piece is a separate piece. It's not glued on, so you can move that around the way you want. It tends to want to pop up and go to the side due to the sculpt underneath, but it's not bad, so you can just reposition that. That's okay. These wristbands, these are spinnable, so you can move those with the hands however you need to, so that's okay by me. The paintwork could definitely be better. It's not quite lined up, but it's not horrible. That's alright enough. The hand sculpt is great. It looks really cool with these kind of gauntlets on. Looks really good. That's nice. They did a decent job with the Colossus style sculpting on the arms. That's okay by me. Like I said, the legs already, like I said already about the legs, they look really good. Here's the problem though, they didn't do a good job painting them at all. There's all this silver peeking through in here, which is how they're molded. Then they painted this darker gunmetal color on top. It does match the molded plastic really well, but there's a whole lot of silver coming through. Not so much on this side, but on this side it doesn't look that good. And another thing I noticed about the Stryfe figure, this is all smooth right here, but it looks oxidized, which I'm not sure how that happens. I guess it's air bubbles. That looks really bad. And a bunch of mine had that going on up here too. So that's pretty disappointing when it's supposed to be all nice and metallic, which the plastic is fairly metallic and kind of pearly. That really detracts from it. So I don't care for that. And another thing I noticed, and this is getting to be the point where a customizer may be the only person who sees it, but this is not cut or sculpted symmetrically. This side is kind of lopsided over here. It's not as sharp of an angle over here. So it's just little things like that. They start to bug me because they shouldn't be there in the first place. And anyway, let's look at the head. The head, I took that off just to show you. The head fits on it just fine. It's a little loose on the ball peg, but not so much so that it's a problem. You can still pose him just fine. Otherwise, the articulation is the same as Hyperion. I do like the head sculpt. It looks pretty good. The paintwork is okay. There's a little bit of skin tones up on the, excuse me, on the metal part. Same thing with the eyes. There's yellow on the silver, but they do look good, and they do have orange and yellow in there. So that's kind of cool. The painted gunmetal color, it's not super clean, but it's all right. And like I said, the sculpt is good. It's a little thick and blocky where these pieces connect, these kind of fins connect, but it's not horrible. So easily the best part about this guy is the head sculpt. He does come with this. There's no paint on it at all, so it looks really cheap. I guess the sculpt is okay, but it still looks really cheap. So after all of that bad stuff that's going on with this guy, it is still a Stryfe figure. It's the only Marvel Legends one we have short of customs, so there is that to consider. And once you get him posed, he's gonna look really cool on the shelf despite all of those problems that are more noticeable only when you are going into a figure for the purposes of a review. So I do still recommend this guy, even as much as to say I recommend it 100%. It's still an imposing figure despite its flaws. It's a really cool looking design for Stryfe, which, you know, there's not too many different designs out there they could have chosen, but this one looks good. I like it. I think the figure captures the look of him just fine. If you can look past those issues that I pointed out, I don't think you're going to have too many problems with this guy at all. It still looks really cool despite the flaws, so I think you should probably go pick it up. There it is, guys. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for more figure reviews, custom figures, and other good stuff. And in the meantime, keep collecting.